Hello and welcome to this week's instalment of Connected. Today on the show we'll be checking out what's happening in town, joined by a wonderful array of guests, starting with podcaster and television reviewer Steve Molk, then Francis Cassidy to take us on a journey to Tasmania, and then we'll be heading out on a location journey to explore Visible Inc., a Brisbane City Council program for young people aged 12 to 26 years, followed by Brisbane-based comedian and entertainer Steve Haddon. And to finish the show off, we'll be talking to independent singer-songwriter Josh McCartney and his group, who'll be treating us to a live performance. But right now, it's time to see what's happening in town. ARIA award-winning hip-hop group Bliss and SO will be playing at the Eden's Hill Hotel as part of their House of Dreams tour on July 12. Their latest album, Circus in the Sky, has just been released to rave reviews, and last year they embarked on their first headline tour of the US and Canada. James Morrison will be attempting to break a Guinness World Record with the world's biggest orchestra. That's happening July 13 at Suncorp Stadium. They need over 6,500 musicians to break the record, but even if you're not a muso, get along and support this rare spectacle. The Queensland Music Festival is happening again from July 12 to July 28, and it's set to showcase the best in local music that the state has to offer. There's a multitude of programs and shows on offer, so check out the website for a full program listing. Don't forget to stay connected through our website and Facebook page for more events. Well, my first guest is podcaster and television reviewer Steve Molk. How are you, Steve?
Good, Ashley.
Great to have you on the program. Now, what was the thing that actually kind of birthed your fascination in understanding about television and why you wanted to do what you do today?
Television's such a great medium that everybody has an opinion on. And I always felt that it was a great opportunity to start a conversation, because whether it's, somebody says, oh, I don't watch television, right through to the full gamut of, yeah, I know I watch this and this religiously and I have to consume this. Everyone's able to then give you their thoughts on it and what they think about it. The news throws in as well. Everyone likes to talk about television in some form.
So you have a real passion too around modern television, and you're not afraid to put your opinions out there on Mock TV Talk. Do you get into a bit of hot water?
Oh, well, you can do. I mean, that's the difficulty when you're sharing any kind of opinion. As long as you're comfortable with it, and I guess ultimately in an industry where you want to make sure that you maintain relationships, and that's really what it is for me. You're going to be honest, but not brutal. People can tend to be scathing just for the point of getting a headline. I think that realistically, if you're going to share an opinion, whether it's about television or anything, you need to be able to back it up, but you certainly also need to be measured about it.
So what is your take on where we are today in television? We've got reality TV, so much packaged stuff coming from America and so little coming out of Australia. What's your views around what we're doing as an industry?
It's a crazy time in Australian television, because not only, as you mentioned, are we facing this onslaught of reality television, both in Australia and American content. We've got a lot of great content coming out of America, a lot of average content coming out as well. Plus there's the ever-present, the death knell of television, some people are claiming, around IP delivery of content and those kinds of things, that broadcast television is going to die. I think we're a little way off that yet, though it is certainly something that the networks have to be aware of. They need to look at what their role is moving forward and become almost more than just a content aggregator that they are today.
So do you ever find that you're ever struggling for content?
It can be tough. Some weeks there's not a whole bunch on television to talk about or to look at, and then something like a Celebrity Splash pops up and, well, that just surprises everyone. There can be some weeks where you go, and it's the same of everything or the same, and then it really starts to drill down into what's happening around those shows and also what's coming, because as you well know, television isn't something that, well, let's make a new show to go on air next week. There's a lot of planning that goes into that and preparation.
Sure. So you've kept very busy, not only with the online segment, but also with ABC Radio.
Yes.
So it keeps you out of mischief, Steve.
It certainly does, because for the same reason, people are looking to want to hear and talk about what's coming on television, what the latest thing is, as well as what's happening right now in the background and on air.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for all that you've got to say and what we've got to say to you.
Great, thank you.
Well, thanks, Steve, for that interesting insight into the world of TV reviewing. And if you want to find out more on Steve Reviews and podcast, you can visit his website. It's up on the screen right now. Coming up on the program, we talk to Francis Cassidy about taking a trip to Tassie and catch up with Visible Inc. out on location. Stay connected. Welcome back to Connected. We're now joined by Francis Cassidy, our travel guru, to take us through all that Tasmania has to offer. Francis, great to have you back and taking us down to, I think, a bit of a cold spot to be going at this time of year.
Well, I look at it this way. We're Queenslanders. We're used to the lovely warm weather. Why not head south and enjoy the cold weather for a change?
Okay, convince me. Why are we doing that?
Okay, well, think of a lovely, cosy bed and breakfast or cottage with a roaring open fire, lovely bottle of wine, great book, excellent company. Am I getting there?
You are starting to get
all right.
warm up, which is good. Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess it's a beautiful time of year to see Tasmania.
Well, it is. I mean, Tassie has 4 seasons in the year, whereas we tend to not really have that in Queensland. So it's nice any time of the year to travel there. Nice and cool now, yes. You could have snow on Cradle Mountain, I'm sure. But you can also enjoy all the diversity that Tasmania has to offer.
I've been to Tassie in December. It was snowing on Mount Wellington.
There you go.
So it's usually pretty cool somewhere.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But for coming there and wanting to travel, you can go and land at Launceston or Hobart, is that right?
Yes, you can. Or what you can do is take your car or get a hire car. You can take the Spirit of Tasmania across from Port Melbourne to Tasmania and then drive around from there. You can do overnight stays. You can stay in backpackers. Or accommodation in hotels, motels. There's lots of diversity.
Now, we can't get into full detail, but my understanding of the packages, though, they are really quite reasonably priced.
They are really reasonably priced. At the moment, you can get airfares for about $450 to $500 with various carriers. And Spirit of Tasmania actually has specials on that the adults travel for children's prices. So it's probably a very affordable time to travel.
Put the icebreaker on the front of it?
You'll be right.
Won't
Warm
be a
up.
problem. But it is a great family destination as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, they have cottages that you can hire that will accommodate, 5 to 6 to 7 people. So you can have all the family together. And by the way, why don't you take your grandparents this time too?
In July, what are you thinking of, French? You're trying to kill them. That's
Get
terrible.
them out and about to enjoy their country.
That's right. So very affordable. We'll have details
Yes.
up on the website for people to be able to check out a little bit more around Tassie.
Yes, yes.
But thank you.
That's okay. And just before I go, we also have wineries in Tasmania as well. And that comes back to a program we did a couple of weeks ago.
Funnily enough, yes.
Funnily enough. So I'm sure up on the screen shortly will be a couple of survey links that I'd like our viewers to go to, and especially the cellar door operators, if they can fill out that survey, that'd be great.
Okay, you're pushy, but we love
Thank you.
Okay, look forward to seeing what you've got for travel next time round and where Francis will take us here in Australia. That'll be coming up on the next program. But Visible Inc. is an initiative by the Brisbane City Council for youth aged between 12 and 26 years. We sent a team out on location to find out more. Let's take a look.
In a nutshell, Visible Inc. is a safe place for young people to prosper. We want to encourage people to drop in, come and see us, and see what facilities we've got to help encourage them in their pursuits. The name Visible Inc. actually came from the original staff that set up this program about 10 years ago. Visible because we wanted more young people to be visible in our space in Brisbane, and the ink comes from making sure that it is everywhere across Brisbane.
G'day, I'm Outback Matty from Australia, of course. Originally grew up in Maffra, Victoria, which is in the country of East Gippsland. When I was younger, was mixed with the wrong crowd of kids, drugs, alcohol, crime. Didn't complete school. The last completed grade was grade 6. I had an opportunity in life when I turned the age of 20 to join a program where Jamie Oliver was coming to Australia, to Melbourne, to set up a restaurant called 15 Foundation, being a rehabilitation program for disadvantaged, underprivileged youth such as myself. So I took up this opportunity and I spent 1 year in Jamie Oliver's restaurant, which was successful for me, and graduated. I learnt the basic fundamentals of cooking fabulous food. So back in 2009, I had a dream to teach disadvantaged youth drugs, alcohol, crime and life skills education, most importantly. So these are kids at around about the ages of 12 to 25. We've just recently now entered into the primary school sector, so we're also looking at grade 3, grade 4s. And these are kids that are either experience problems outside at home, and they're either at risk with society or education. The teacher actually follows up and actions a process. I go out to schools in regional and remote locations across Australia, as well as Queensland alone, and we teach life skills education to disadvantaged youth or youth at risk. So here we are in 2013, and in 2012 I connected with an organisation based here in Brisbane called Visible Link. Visible Link is an initiative of the Brisbane City Council. So today here on the table we have a fantastic salad. So it's going to be a mixture of a little bit of fruit. So we got some fresh figs, some fresh wild rocket, which is full of a peppery flavour. It got a bit of crunch. We've got a juicy pomegranate, which we're going to slice in half, and we're going to do a pomegranate dressing with a little bit of lemon olive oil dressing. So that's a base of Italian dressing. And then we've got some lovely shaved prosciutto slices, and we're also going to use a sandwich press today. Now sandwich presses are fantastic because when you close them they cook evenly, and it only takes about 2 or 3 minutes. And we've got a little bit of chicken leg there, which I've been marinating in some garlic and parsley. So that'll take a few minutes, and while that's cooking we'll put together a nice little salad and make a homemade dressing, and it should be absolutely lip smacking. We'll start with the dressing. So what we want to do is create a basic dressing. So it's really simple. It's normally 1 part lemon, okay? So 1 squeeze of lemon, and just into a bowl here. Doesn't matter too much about the seeds, but try not to get them in there, okay? And now we've got our lemon in there, 1 part lemon. We've got a little bit of this extra virgin olive oil, and it's 3 parts olive oil. So I've just put in there probably about 3 teaspoons of olive oil. You've got your salt and pepper, so make sure you season it. Bit of salt, bit of pepper, very important. And then we just want to give that, whoop, there we go. Give it a nice little whisk there with the fork. And so what we're doing there is we're just emulsifying the dressing. So basically that's the olive oil and acidity from the lemon juice, which is coming together like a nice cloudy colour. And as you can see, it's now combined together well along with the seasoning, the salt and pepper. So that's a really basic Italian olive oil dressing. In fact, the very first one that Jamie Oliver taught me. So we just put that dressing aside, and we're going to begin the salad. So the salad's really, really simple. Okay, we got some of this fresh rocket, we've got some figs. Just want to grab the figs, just remove the top bit of the core just with twisting it lightly. And we're just going to score it like a crisscross, noughts and crosses. And then we just basically peel that out, and you can just see how beautiful that fig is. And put him straight in the middle there, squash him down a little bit on our plate. We've got another fig here. And with this one, I'm going to do it a little bit different. We're just going to go straight through the middle of the fig like that, as you see, and we're just going to do some nice slices. I can't really slice backwards, but I'm going to show you here. Whoop. So just some nice slices here, which will be a fanned out fig. Okay, and pick it up there, and we just want to fan that out on a nice angle in the corner. And it's really, really simple. We're just putting around. Now I've got some of this goat cheese, and I've got a nice little knife here. So with this goat cheese, just kind of want to put a little bit in the middle of that delicious fig, and they marry really well together. All right, and now it's time for the chicken before we build this salad up a little bit. So we'll get our chicken out of our sandwich press. Oh wow, would you have a look at that? That's what I'm talking about. That chicken has been in there for 3 minutes. It's nice and crispy. We've let it rest for 2 minutes, and as you can see, it's cooked beautiful. Definitely pick that off our sandwich press, and then we just want to slice it on a nice angle, and we'll do it a little bit chunky. And we just want to carefully place a little bit of this just off the side of our fig, okay? And you can see how nice and steamy it is. Really, really delicious. All right, and it'll be nice and tender. And we've got some of this fantastic prosciutto here. And with the prosciutto, it's got this fat rind on it. So you can just use your fingers to remove the fat rind, just like that. And then with your hands and fingers, just open that up and curl that around. And there we have it. Have a look at that. That is one fine dish fit for a king. Right, now we're going to try the pomegranate. Let's have a little bit of the pomegranate with this beautiful bit of ham on here and a bit of the goat's cheese. Absolutely divine. That's what I'm talking about. Delicious. This is what it's all about. Bringing friends, family together here at Visible Link. If I'm around, I'll cook for you. Just come on down. But yeah, it's just such a great organisation and space to use.
Well, that's a fantastic initiative by the Brisbane City Council, and looks like they really are doing a great job. If you want to find out more about the program, check out the website. We're on the screen right now. Coming up after the break, we'll be joined by Brisbane-based comedian and entertainer Steve Haddon and independent singer-songwriter Josh McCartney. Stay connected. Welcome Welcome back to Connected. It's now time to have a chat with Steve Haddon, a Brisbane-based comedian, entertainer, character actor, MC, actor, author and journalist. You may recognise him from TV where he had presented sport on Nine Network. Wow, Steve, you've been doing a lot and continue to do a lot.
Just hold on and go for a bit of a ride. That's what it's been like for the last 30 years.
I'll bet, yes.
You know, since I graduated from university as an actor, I've done a bit of that, and then that's led to that, and that's led to that. And I've written books and worked at Channel 9 for a long time, and work as a comedian, doing the conference circuit, make up characters, develop things for people, go and sit down with my clients and say, well, what are you going to do this year at your conference? And
so do you tend
I meet
to
a lot of interesting people.
Do you tend to tailor then the presentation? So once you are talking with the clients?
So I'm a writer. So all the skills that I learnt at university as an actor and a writer have served me very well down the years. And I often find it ironic when I left the University of Queensland with a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in journalism and Australian history and drama, all those years ago in 1980, and people said, well, you know, it's not much of a degree there. It's interestingly enough, I've made a living in those various arms of study.
It served you well.
So my arts degree served me very well.
Yeah. And understand way back there in history too, there was also a time doing some sales work.
I worked as an actor with the Queensland Theatre Company for a couple of years back in the early 80s, and I got a big part in a movie, and then the investors pulled the money out of the movie, so I was left stranded there with no work because I'd declined an extra contract with the Queensland Theatre Company because I was going to go and do this movie. This was going to be the start of my big career. So to pay the rent, a mate said to me, go and work for Xerox. They'll teach you how to sell. So I did 4 years with Xerox and learnt how to sell. And Xerox then in the photocopier business, big American Fortune 500 company, they had a very highly regarded sales training program called Xerox Learning System. So it was almost like after those years working as an actor, I then went and worked in a business academy for 4 years. And that served me well because I make appointments, and if you're going to do anything in the sort of field that I am, you've got to be able to sell it to people and sit down with people and say, look, we're going to do this, this, this and this. It'll cost you that much. Are we on?
Okay.
You know, have we got a deal?
With the character acting, now we also see that role where you're doing people like Molly, Sir Joe, and I understand Clive Palmer now in your repertoire. How do you go about actually studying that character?
I'm a born mimic. Two of my big roles as an actor with the Queensland Theatre Company back in 1981, one was playing Errol Flynn, and another one was playing D.H. Lawrence, the English writer. So I rely very, very heavily on good makeup. So interestingly enough, I have this, and I tell my makeup people that I work with, if you work for me, you become famous. Because my first group of makeup people were based down at Logan, Brad Greenwood and Kim Sainsbury, who practiced on me for a couple of years, then went over and worked on Lord of the Rings. So I haven't seen them since. They've gone off to bigger and better things. My second makeup guy is a guy called Jason Baird, who won an Emmy for The Pacific, which was a wonderful HBO mini series that Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg produced. And then my most recently, Shay Lawrence from the Gold Coast as well. He went off and is working in the Spartacus series in New Zealand as well. So my current guy's a young fella by the name of Brian Craddock, and I say, Brian, you stick with me, mate. You'll be working in Hollywood soon.
Keep an eye on his name, hey?
Yeah,
We'll see where
it's one of those specialised industries. But some of these people, I sit there in the chair for 2 hours, and they just transform you. And I always like playing dress-ups.
Well, Steve, lovely to chat with you. Thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks.
That's Steve Haddon, a man of many talents. And if you want more information on what Steve is up to, you can visit his website, stevehaddon.com.au. Guest is Josh McCartney. He's an independent singer-songwriter, and had kicked off an amazing event at the Caxton Seafood Festival early in May. Josh, welcome to the program.
Hi Ash, how are you going?
Great, thank you. Introduce the rest of the guys as well.
Alright, so this is Matt Graham over here,
Hi.
and this is James Johnston.
G'day, James.
We're all in a band together.
Yeah, so off, and you just finished completing 50 gigs, 50 days in 5 states. Huge.
Oh, it was a massive tour. It was incredible though. We saw some incredible places over Australia. We played at Uluru, played underground in Cooper Pedy. There's some places like the SB in Melbourne. And yeah, it was just incredible.
You probably didn't know what you were letting yourselves in for when you left Caxton Street.
No, I had no idea.
So anyway, with regard to the music side of things, just quickly then getting down to your own album, what's happening there?
So I released an EP along the road, which is called The Beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on my website as well. And yeah, we released that as well as some other EPs for these guys as well.
Okay,
so solo artists.
So for you as a solo performer and for you as a band, we've got plenty of music available. We'll have those websites up there as well. What are you playing for us today?
This is my song called Searching Through the Dark. It's just a little acoustic piece.
Okay, well, we'll hand it over to you. I'll get out of the way and let you perform. Thank you.
This mind was a work of art, ahead of its time and place. Memories begin to fade. You're not lost, you're just searching through the dark. No. It hurts to lose our friend. You carry on and move along again. I know it feels just too hard. You'll get there in the end. You're not lost, you're just searching through the dark. Searching through the dark. You're not lost, you're just searching through the dark. You're not lost, you're just searching through the dark. You're not lost, you're just searching through the dark. No.
Well, thank you very much, guys. That's wonderful. If you'd like to have more information on Josh and the guys, their upcoming gigs, you can visit the website. It's up on the screen for you right now. Well, I'd like to say thanks to our guests for the program, Steve Molk, Francis Cassidy, and all those involved with Visible Inc., Steve Haddon, Josh McCartney, and the guys for taking time out of the day to enlighten and entertain us. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this week. Don't forget to join us same time next week. Until then, stay connected.